So I think it's a regular or typical human phenomenon to not give so much recognition to the choir master, but rather focus on the lead singer or the entire choir. Little is even known of the choir master, or most obviously a conductor for an orchestra concert. Pretty much he has his back turned on the audience, so they don't even see his face anyway. All the standing ovation is given to the orchestra group and they are giving the acknowledgement, but little is known of probably the conductor or the choir master. What up guys, well, welcome to the channel. I want to greet you from Ghana. It's early in the morning, so I take a little bit of green tea and see if I can do some little exercise to keep fit. All right. So Nigeria is a huge rice success in Africa. I mean, the story of Nigeria rice production pyramid, as you see in the screen, is a huge inspiration for an entire continent, right? And it makes even more sense in our current economic state, looking at this Ukraine war and hyperinflation and all that is going on. We are really coming to appreciate what Nigeria has done in terms of rice production and the model that has been created for other Africans to follow. But what if I told you that the man behind this entire project is a man that we all do not know, and he's a Ghanaian? Meet Abraham Juma Odoom. He's a Ghanaian farmer and a former member of parliament. Not only former member of parliament, but former deputy of agriculture policies in Ghana. This man has worked in different organizations or have consulted or become brain behind a lot of projects, especially in the cocoa farming space, all right? Not only in Ghana, but across Africa and even across the world. He's consulted for many agriculture programs all over the world. It's no surprise that he was chosen to lead the entire program in Nigeria. Even though the program was funded by Nigeria Central Bank, but it was really spearheaded or pulled through by this man and his team. Ghanaian policy advisor behind Nigeria's rice production. So meet the Ghanaian policy advisor behind Nigeria's rice production boom. Last week, Nigeria's President Muhammad Buhari launched what has been described as the country's single largest rice pyramid ever assembled to confirm its success in achieving a bumper harvest of produce in 2021. The record 9 million metric tons produced in 2021 was out of a deliberate policy plan implemented at least over the last 7 years to increase production of stable to meet the local demand of about 7 million metric tons per year. That's the man in red. This Mr. Odoom, the policymaker or the policy advisor. Although the program is led by the Central Bank of Nigeria, the contribution of a Ghanaian former member of parliament for Trifo Ati Moka, Abraham Juma Odoom, is being celebrated. Mr. Odoom was a policy advisor providing technical support and direction for the program that could be a blueprint for other African countries towards full sufficiency. This is what he has to say. Mr. Odoom, the policymaker. Nigeria has demonstrated to the whole world that we have an African solution to an African problem. I know that if Nigeria gets it right, the whole Africa will get it right too. He told pressmen last week at the launch of the pyramids in Abuja. And this is so spectacular, all right? Let's look at what he said. This man's not even thinking about him being a Ghanaian. He's thinking himself as an African, a son of Africa, that he felt that if Nigeria gets something right, the effect would, trickle, or the effect would trigger some kind of revolution in Africa. Just like Ghana, when we got the independence, it became a model for the entire Africa. And even our democracy now is a model for the entire Africa to follow, all right? So I share in this very insight that if Nigeria gets it right, Nigeria is huge with a huge population. If the moment Nigeria gets a lot of things right, the moment things begin to roll in a better fashion, the moment the line, we can't always have a straight line, but the moment we get a lot of things right in Nigeria, the effects will be massive in Africa, especially in the West Africa region. And you know what? This man has demonstrated that we have the people. We have people with the mindset of thinking about Africa, like the people with African mentality, the Think Africa people who are ready to support whichever country that you are in Africa to achieve a set goals to the benefit of the entire region. All right, and yes, we do have the able men. All we need to do is come together all we need to do is to come together, combine efforts and resources, especially financial resource and our human resource. Africa has experienced a lot of brain drain, but we still have able men, especially in the sphere of farming. Africa has more than 30% of the entire planet's arable land. All right, more than 30% or more than 35% more, all right, of entire planet's arable land. And yet we are crying because Russia and Ukraine are fighting. Sadly, it's a sad scene to behold, but we should not be complaining of heat and stable foods and stable crops while we can grow them in abundance. We have the land, we are blessed with the land. We need people like Mr. Odoom, and we need finances to help push. I mean, Africa, we need to come together to make progress in that. Let's get to the story, and after it comes to commentary. Long before becoming a member of Ghana's 7th Parliament, Mr. Odoom in 2014 developed the concept note for achieving rice self-sufficiency while serving as a policy advisor under the Competitive Africa Rice Initiative in Nigeria. I think he's been on this road for a long time, carving policy for Africa rice production, not only Nigeria, for entire Africa, right? As part of his duty, he told the various states and local government known for rice production in the country, took note of their concerns of local rice farmers, and began putting together a formula that will incentivize rice farmers and lead to adequate local production. So that is him here, all right? You see him with, I love him, all right? He's not even wearing any watch. I mean, he's enjoying time, and that is him again in the middle, all right? After forming working groups at the local government, state level and federal level to champion the cause, he called the first major meeting involving all stakeholders, including the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele. Did I get the name right? Please forgive me if I didn't. Godwin Emefiele, and custom officers to fashion out a workable solution. Look at the working group. The custom officers, because they allow importation of foreign rice, and also the central bank, because the program needs to be financed by the central government. All right, you see the brain, like the mind. One of the major outcomes of that deliberation and the consistent push for rice sufficiency was the bold decision of the central bank to boost local agriculture production and reverse the country's negative balance of payments on the forward. This is a workable institution. I mean, this is a working institution. Central bank that focuses on agriculture production, tech and everything is good, all right? The tech space is a good space and all that. I mean, transportation, service, logistics, they are all good. But agric is a big deal. So for the Central Bank of Nigeria to recognize that, it's pretty not just normal, but it's the super normal. It's a great initiative. It's a great initiative to have. It's a great initiative that they supported. And come on, it's a commendable effort by the central government, or idea by the central government, to go all mean to support this project. One of the major outcomes of the deliberation, the program known as the Anchor Borrowers Program, ABP, provided financing to local farmers in loans through commercial banks and listed rice among other products Nigeria had the capacity for production for as not valid foreign exchange items. All right, that is him again. I mean, I like this man. I always say this, look, people who keep our economy running are the grassroots, are the farmers, are the rural areas. They produce for us. They are feeding us. They are feeding those of us in the city. Without them, we cannot survive. Forget about your money or whatever you have. What is your money? What is your money if it can't buy anything? So these people in the local communities or the rural areas or the village are those really, I mean, running the economy. I mean, feeding the people, creating jobs and providing opportunities for those of us in the cities. But we do not even recognize them. We don't appreciate them. In Africa, Africa is the only place that you are termed as a poor person if you're a farmer. That narrative is changing. Now, a lot of, not even now, it's been there for a long time. Most of the members of parliament, most of them in Ghana, their parents were farmers. And even them, they are children of farming. They came from the villages. They came from the village, went to cities to school, and they became, they grew in their career and ended up becoming politicians and members of parliament or policymakers. Most of them are from the villages, all right? So farmers are really contributing in the growth of every nation, but we don't give them the recognition. And I'm so glad that we are now seeing their value. Look at what this man has done. A pure son of a farmer and a farmer himself. When I came here in 2014, I visited the state. That is Mr. Odoom's talking, all right? Mr. Odoom, the policymaker, the Ghanaian policymaker. When I came here in 2014, I visited the states and the local governments. The morale of the farmers was very low because of the low productivity. I recognized that we needed to create inspiration and get results. I was the policy advisor. I was the only I was the policy advisor, so I served as an advocate between the farmers and government, Ibrahim Juma said in an interaction with pressmen in Abuja. He became the middleman between the local rice producers who had very low morale and the government or the policymakers who has the money, all right? And he was sharing feedback between the two. It takes the concerns of the farmers, send it to the Nigerian local government or the Nigerian government for them to assess, and then they give the feedback and the required tools or the finances or the incentives to him to be given to these people or given to them. So, I mean, there was some kind of collaboration between the farmers, the local government, the local farmers, and the local government. That's how we should work, all right? And see the results. We cannot neglect the people in the rural areas. We cannot neglect the farmers. We cannot do without them. There will be no country without them. So bringing them into our policy making, bringing them into nation building, look at what has happened. Now, Nigeria, from 1.3 million tons to 2,160 tons, metric tons, it's a crazy deal, man. It's mind blowing. So that is him again in the midst of the local. Oh, I guess these people love this man. I mean, they would be grateful to him forever. I mean, 8 years down the line, he's looking back with pride and success of little giant steps he took with the local rice farmers in Nigeria that have resulted in the country celebrating its largest rice harvest. The Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria, RIFN, an umbrella body also born out of Mr. Odoom's work, he created that, invited him as a guest of honor for his support and key role in helping them achieve the rice production success for their annual rice festival, where the record rice pyramid were displayed. Wow, that is him, all right, and that's the Nigerian farmers, all right. So that is it. Ibrahim Odoom, a former deputy vice chairperson of Parliament Agriculture Committee in Ghana, said he's hoping to share the experiences from Nigeria's success with other African countries. Mr. Odoom was once the district chief executive of the Chifo Amoka district. All right. After 4 years, that is just another story. After 4 years, he was appointed deputy local government minister for 2 years and subsequently as the deputy for health. While serving as DC, he mobilized resources from bank. The readiness of farmers brought into pilot phase of what became the national mass spraying of cocoa in Ghana, which led to the drastic reduction of pests and disease on cocoa in Ghana. I mean, it means this man is not only doing this in Nigeria, but also in Ghana. This is someone we as Africa needs to protect him at all costs. We should do everything in our power to make sure that it's a continent treasure. It's not a national treasure. It's a continent, Afro-continent's treasure that we have to protect him at all costs. The moral lesson in all this is African collaboration. We as Africans need to collaborate. I know that we are already collaborating, especially with Africa and especially with Ghana and Nigeria. There's a lot of collaboration going on. So much that those of us on the internet that blab every time do not know about. I mean, the relationship between Ghana and Nigeria is underrated by the common people, but it's it is held in high esteem by both countries. I mean, by both countries. Ghana and Nigeria has the strongest relationship in Africa. They have strongest bond in every sphere, even though we don't share about this, all right? So this internet blah blah blah, 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 that you see commentators or people writing and blah, 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 those people are basically naive. They don't know what is happening. They pretty much do not understand what is going on around them, all right? So whenever I see these comments, I sometimes try to respond or I blush it off. But this is what has happened, and this kind of bonding should replicate in other parts of Africa. I know it is, but it should be amplified, especially in the collaboration of agriculture, in the agriculture space. This is a huge milestone for the entire continent. Imagine what would have happened if this had not, this rice production boom or the rice boom had not happened in Nigeria. Like, what would we do, or what would we have done in this present time, in this present moment where everything is high? Like, we couldn't even afford rice. Now local rice is even becoming cheaper. Like, it's good. And I think this should not only be with rice, it should be with cocoa and everything that we can produce in Africa. I'm so excited about this, and I know you're excited too. And if you think we need to collaborate more, if you share in this insight and knowledge, just let me know your thoughts, all right? Wherever you are coming from, wherever you are, as long as you are an African, as long as you are African Caribbean, African American, African whatever, as long as you have that black, beautiful skin, I mean, it's something that we need to share your thoughts on, right? So let me know your thoughts, and please do not forget to subscribe to this channel and share this video. See you in the next video. Is bye. Come on, please subscribe. Just take this moment, subscribe. you just get. Thank you, and see you in the next video. Bye.